Hi everybody, hi Tamar. Today we have a very cool video. We're going to talk about the prophecy that the dragon has 3 heads and all the theories that surround it, right? So what is this prophecy?
We hear about this prophecy from the House of the Undying. It's only from the books. And I think,
Right, Daenerys is in the house.
Yeah. You immediately think about the Targaryen symbol. Targaryen banner, that you have a dragon with 3 heads.
She's told that the dragon has 3 heads.
And it got something to do with the prophecy of the prince that was promised. And because it's very vague and obscure,
Right.
it opened up a
Like a good prophecy.
Yeah, Pandora's box of interpretations.
Right.
Who are these 3 heads?
But
Theories
the
about it.
main theory is
The 3 heads of the dragon is one of them is Daenerys, Jon, and Tyrion.
She has 3 dragons, so she will ride Drogon. And there are 2 more dragons, and somebody has to ride these dragons. So Jon and Tyrion, that's like the theory that they would ride the dragons with her.
And there are a lot of similarities between these 3 characters. For example, all 3 of them killed their mother while she was giving birth to them.
Right.
And 3 of them are some kind of outcasts or outsiders.
Right.
You know, Tyrion being a dwarf, Jon being a bastard, and Daenerys being like this on the run, like deposed queen from the deposed house.
And they are the 3 main characters of the story, you could say.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's another thing that you think that they all have in common, right?
Yeah. All 3 of them are some kind of reformers.
Reformers.
Of political reformers and social reformers.
What do you mean? What is reform?
Reform, literally, there is a form and you reform it. No, don't laugh. Okay. I wasn't telling a joke here.
Okay.
If you contrast it with a revolution, revolution is like a major shift between
A break with the past.
break with the past and the creating of something totally new. But reform is to accept the basic structures in society, but changing the relationship inside between them.
It could be a big change and it could be a small change.
It could be a big change and it could be a small change, like you said. Let's break it down.
Yeah, let's start with Jon.
Jon. Okay, Jon, the minute he gets into a position of power, he uses that to reform.
Very dramatic reform.
He basically incorporated the enemy.
The enemy.
And bring the enemy inside the walls and gave them rights.
And gave them weapons just like that.
Weapons, just like that, and with a sense
That's
of...
very radical. Because this army, this Night Watch, has been fighting the wildlings for hundreds and thousands of years.
Yeah.
And now, in one fell swoop, now they are part of the army.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very dramatic.
Very dramatic, very bold.
Let's go to
Daenerys is the easiest example. She reforms the basic for society.
No more slaves.
No more slaves, period.
Just think about
no more one man owning another. You can even say it's revolutionary.
And Tyrion, what kind of reformer? He's more of an aspiring reformer.
Tyrion is not that obvious as a reformer, but it's very clear that he has a major dissatisfaction with the current political system.
Right.
And the fact that he is not judged by his abilities, but only with his outside appearance.
Because he was a successful ruler.
He was a successful ruler, and he is the rightful heir to Castle Rock. But he was robbed of that because he's a dwarf and his father doesn't like it. So all 3 of them, they killed their mother, they are outsiders, and they have dissatisfaction with the current political system
and the political will to change the situation. And we're talking about a world that is very stagnant, that cannot handle change or reform very quickly. Let's talk a little bit about big reformers throughout history.
One of my favorite historical characters is Solon. He was a Greek reformer, start of the classical period. He reformed the Athenian society really radically. He wrote some kind of a constitution. He reformed the Athenian society by giving power to a lot of disenfranchised groups and creating basically a new political units inside the Athenian society that was based not only on blood, but on wealth and property as well. Some historians consider him as like playing a major role in later the Athenian democracy.
Okay.
Like from this reform came this bug of reforms that later on, 100 years later, created the first democracy ever.
What about Napoleon?
Great reformer. We remember him today mainly as a conqueror.
And a loser?
And a loser, yeah. Military lost in the end.
I was raised in Belgium. There's Waterloo, you go to see where he lost.
Okay. He reformed the French society and the political sphere. He created this Napoleon Code, first constitution of France. Some of the codes that he wrote are still valid, and he reformed the army. He created this people's army that fight for a nation and not only for some kind of lord.
And maybe more recent examples we can talk about, like Margaret Thatcher, who was prime minister in the UK. She reformed the economic system and she changed the political thinking and the alignment in UK politics. So what about FDR?
A great reformer, established one of the most important institutions in the United States today, the Social Security. In terms of context in American politics, a very big reformer.
And the banking system,
and
right?
And these reforms are till today are considered as something very good.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about contemporary politics, because now, we think that we are in a period of very rapid changes in society. But the political sphere is going the other way, you could tell. Like Obama was elected on the promise of change, but now he himself says that he was the president of incremental changes, right?
Yeah.
So, like small changes where he can maybe bend a little bit history to where he wants it to go. But okay, looking forward, I don't know, in American politics, can you see reformers over there?
Now you have in American politics, there's the start of the Game of Thrones now. In 1 year time, there is the 2016 election.
But now you have the primaries.
Then you have the
primary
primaries.
season.
You can definitely say about Bernie Sanders that he will be, if he will be elected, he will be a major reformer, or at least he will try.
Right, die trying.
And he will go for it, like he's trustworthy.
But
on the other side, you have Trump, which I don't know if he will be elected, probably play golf all day or something like that. It's very interesting because today almost every politician runs on the promise of some kind of a reform or some kind of change. Right. Back then, especially in the Middle Ages, when the sovereign is also the state, then a change, you cannot do a reform, you can only do a revolution.
Right. Okay, I thought of something. The only power, like in present day, that is a true revolutionary power that wants to change the relationship, because you said that there is an ongoing relationship and the reformers want to change it. And there is one power that wants to erase this relationship and start a new one, and that you could say that's ISIS.
The Tea Party.
Yeah. Okay. So they are putting themselves at odds with all other nation states. Theoretically, I guess you have sometimes competing interests, but they are putting themselves at odds with everybody. All nation states have a vested interest on, for that kind of religious state to fade.
That's a great example, because their message is also universal. It's not local.
Okay, this is a good setup for this video's bold prediction. So if you're looking at reform, and at these three characters, reformers, Jon, Dany, and Tyrion, what do you see them reforming going forward?
The dragon reformer has 3 heads, which means that every one of these characters that we talk about will contribute to the major change.
Big change you can believe in.
Big change that you can believe in.
In some kind of way.
And if we take it to, I want to make a prediction to current events.
About current events? Okay. About reformers? Okay.
This thing told me, the magic Etzubal told me, that Hillary Clinton, will win the presidency.
The presidency? And she will bring reform, right?
No, you have to be very naive to believe that she gets a lot of money from
extreme establishment.
Yeah, of course, she's much better than all the other crazy guys that are will run against her, except Bernie Sanders. I like him because he's Jewish, only because of that.
But you think he will lose?
Yeah, he will lose.
And
I don't know if I think if he will lose. This is what the Magic Crystal Ball told me.
Okay, let me talk to Ganesh. I have also maybe a bold prediction. Okay, thank you, Ganesh. Ganesh says that ISIS will lose. So this is just in. ISIS will lose.
Yeah.
We can now relax. We don't have to take any security measures at all.
ISIS, what's the message of ISIS? Except for radical Muslims.
And people are fleeing. Muslims are fleeing the Islamic State and going to the kuffars, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
the moment foreigners. You will have to fear ISIS, the moment that there will be more ISIS warriors than McDonald's around the world, then you have to fear.
Okay, I'm not for McDonald's, but it's still a little better than ISIS. A little better.
Yeah, a little better.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. So if you have a different idea about the reform that is coming, or about the prophecy of the dragon has three heads, be sure to comment and mention in the comments. If you want to learn more about political systems, check out this video over here, and also a very cool Free Cities video. Check it out over here. If you enjoyed the video, click like. A great help would be if you wanted to support us on Patreon. There's a link below. That would be awesome. And subscribe to get us our next video. Also, don't forget to check out our Facebook page and Twitter account. They are kind of cool. Bye, everybody. Bye.
I laid out the principles for comprehensive immigration reform.
And that is why we'll continue to reform welfare.
Reform is always difficult.
Und ohne Reform